A lot of sharing in this session. We would like to hear now your experience. I see many of you have done studies or been involved in policy processes. What is your experience related to creating an enabling environment for rural advisory services so that we can increase food security, better help food producers to practice climate smart agriculture? You could consider the following aspects. So policies, legislation, secondly, the resources, including finance, resource mobilization, and infrastructure. Thirdly, the institutions and governance. Then fourth thing is the specificities related to climate change. It can be even climate finance or the short and long-term perspective of the climate impact and so on. So you can continue adding your questions on the left, but most importantly, if you have some experiences, what works, the part A below the orange text, and what does not work, what we should not use or try in other countries, and also the lessons learned in creating the enabling environment in general. If you have, for example, case study experiences, and I would encourage also speakers at this point. We'll give a couple of minutes now for participants to write, and that after that we can have a little exchange about what is coming up. And at the same time, we of course keep on reading your questions. So I will be silent in a. Hi everyone, I was just giving some time for participants to send inputs, some time to think, let's say. So also I would invite other speakers to take up some points if you have something to share on what works, what does not. I see, for example, interesting things that highlighting Mariana Ortega is, for example, highlighting the importance of including the farmers in the processes, and farmers spread the voice, or spread the news, and share that what is working and what is not.
Another important point, if I may, Maria, can you hear me?
Yes,
okay. Please. Is what Magdalena Bloom said in the what does not work, and is the urgency to adopt a long-term perspective, which is not that easy most often. So this is a kind of mind change that we need to foster and embed in the design and implementation of rural advisory service under the umbrella of climate smart agriculture.
And Roberto had a point to make about about this topic. Please, Roberto, I hand over to you.
A couple of ideas. Hello.
Yes, now hearing again. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Carry on.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to refer a couple of ideas regarding to our conversation this morning. One is the role of the consumer. For me, if in the coming years we are not able to involve consumers in the decisions about how to stimulate products from a process with technologies in terms of climate smart agriculture, in terms of the triple objectives, we are not going to be success in our goals, because the decision of consumer is crucial in regarding to how rural advisory services can involve, rural advisory involve consumers. Until now, rural advisory services are worried about how to produce productivity, how to get more tons per hectare, but they are not worried about who is going to consume the production, consumer. So rural advisory services need to invest in communication to the consumer, be very active in terms of innovations in the rural and in the agricultural sector in order to offer clean products, in order to offer good products from process who protect soil, water, biodiversity, ecosystem services in general. This is the couple of ideas I wanted to share again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roberto. This is very valuable. I see now many people are starting to write a lot. I think, for example, Larry Lenton is highlighting the incentives for farms combined with the public awareness, so that that the farmers, for example, or other private investment can help in for example, in soil conservation. And I wonder if Gertrude, if you would have a comment to make on what you see here, or in general related to Malawian lessons learned in your work. Thank you. Gertrude, you would need to unmute your microphone and then we could hear you well.
All right, thank you, Maria. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Can everybody? Oh, all right. Well, my comment would be on what works. And I want to agree with the observation by providing of, working, the first comment that appeared on what works, where we are saying, let's show the farmers what works in practice, not only in theory. And therefore, there should be some methodologies put in place that will help them to experience together with the extension staff, for example, on the ground, so that they see what works, other than just providing the theories, so that they have an abstract, an idea of what it is. But then when we work through with them, through, for example, a demonstration, after we have trained them on these aspects on climate smart agriculture, then it should be possible to have farmers adopt the technologies that we are promoting on the climate smart agriculture.
Thank you, Gertrude. The sound is still not optimal, but what I heard from you is that you highlighted the need of farmers doing things in practice and seeing, for example, that there would be investment in demonstration sites where farmers can see how the climate smart practices and approach can work. Yes, okay, very good.
Yes.
So this is something, what you said seems to be working very nicely. There's also others. Yes, do you want to add something to that?
For us, probably on the lessons that we are learning while implementing the program on climate smart agriculture, especially working with multiple party institutions in promoting climate smart agriculture, is that there's need to harmonize the messages that go out to the farmers so that they are not confused. With multiplicity of actors in the advisory services, there's need for harmony on what the farmers are informed about climate smart agriculture. So those are some of the lessons that we are learning in the process. But I think it's not coming out in any of the comments that are coming up, but it just came to my mind that I can share on that. And I think I'll also be sharing much more when I'll be talking about our perspectives on those areas.
Gertrude, I must say that now for some reason the line seems to be cracking again. If it's possible, Gertrude, I would ask you if you could add your lessons learned by typing on the part C there, your lessons learned, so we could then better integrate them also in the summary part. We see also here Magdalena Bloom, who is a colleague who is highlighting under one of the main lessons learned, the win-win situations when all benefit from addressing climate change. So thinking of that, then we wouldn't have, for example, trade-offs, that we choose practices without trade-off. And thanks, Gertrude. I see you already typing there. I will now mute your microphone. Yes, perfect.
Well, so while building, sorry,
go ahead,
while building on, I was reading through the comments and experiences our audience is sharing, which is very rich now, and I'm glad that what has been told us by our presenter is actually part of the experience of many of our attendees, in the sense that I see that communication is acknowledged as a key element in fostering and in promoting rural advisory service work, and to disseminate, I would say, a climate-smart agriculture culture, as for example Roberto has mentioned. And another important point raised by the audience is the need for a wider collaboration that has been recalled by Degi at the beginning, then by Rashid, and then by Roberto himself. So this is a major point that has been raised by both presenters and attendees as a general point.
Very good, thanks, Bianca. I'm also thinking, looking at this, I see many people are typing still. I think there's a lot to say about these lessons learned. But I think we could still take a couple of minutes before going to the panel discussion. I'm also waiting for hear from Gertrude part, as we will not be able to take a full presentation from Malawi because of the sound quality issues. Sorry about that. The technical things are failing us today. I'm trying to see other things if you want to highlight some other issues. And one thing about the questions for the panel discussion, we see a lot of questions coming on technical, let's say, what are the practices of climate smart agriculture, but we won't be going into those parts. We will really looking at the policies of all the enabling environment as is described in the upper part on the orange part. Of course, there might be some factors, key factors, which are missing there, but we're not talking about CSA practices or at this time. Now I see Gertrude's reply here, so just so that everybody will hear it. From Malawian Ministry of Agriculture, we hear that the multiplicity of partners in the rural advisory services for climate smart agriculture, the main lesson learned is that there is need to have a uniform message which goes out to the farmers, so there is not confusion but more of harmony in terms of what information is shared with the farmers, so that there can be a benefit from the information and and can benefit in terms of food security and livelihoods.